I'm real deep.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a person who is an investor, today probably wasn't the best day for you, unless you have some companies. But for the most part, stocks fell everywhere, and I mean everywhere. And honestly, you kind of want to look for some hope where something can actually have been good.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting about the stock market today? Despite the fact that so much fell, you know whose stock rose today?
It has to be
Disney's.
Disney. I mean,
Disney.
when you're an unstoppable powerhouse releasing content like this,
Now, I can't claim that their stock is going to stay that high, but you know, for the
but
most part,
but
there was some good stuff. There was some good stuff, as well as Captain America. Now, let's just be honest with Captain America, just from the jump. I'm not so sure it's going to be the greatest movie or anything like that. But I was certain as of maybe 11:59 p.m. last night that at the very least it would be okay enough to be like, passable and things like that. And while there are some people who say it is, there are a lot of people who say, "Nah, it isn't. This is bad. This is bad."
this is rough. And these are the early people that went to these people went out of their way
Right.
to either get access or they're diehard fans.
Eey. We
Th-
have
This, yeah,
we have a problem here.
I,
Captain
there's so
America.
much.
We're gonna have to get into it. See, today's brand versus the man is a very special brand versus the man because it's one topic only. It's
Yeah.
Captain America. Yeah, we'll branch off into some other things with it when it comes to Disney and what they got going on and how they are changing certain things. We have to talk about their DEI thing because that's actually
Yeah.
incredibly interesting. We also got to talk about the parks thing, and we have to talk
Yep.
about what they actually see superheroes being because it feels like they think superheroes are something completely different now. And I think that's going to start the show because this movie is not really getting that much promotion to begin with. And you have to wonder if Thunderbolts will get the same. And if Thunderbolts doesn't do well, will Fantastic Four get the same as well? I'm unsure. I'm unsure. So we'll have to get into all of those things. But first, got to get into the chat here. As always, feel free to join that Discord where we talk about a bunch of random things, not just movies, but anime and video games, and there's wall art and posters and things that people have done in projects. So feel free to join that if you would like. Justin Patton, appreciate you showing up first as usual. I don't know what to expect from this movie, but I know it won't be good. It might have been better, except that interview will probably tank it more now, though. Here's the thing that makes, if we can pull up a prominent example that Bumberger and I have talked about for the better part of like what, almost 2 years now, Dungeons and Dragons, where the interview tanked or helped to
Yeah.
tank that movie,
For sure.
but the movie did get good reviews, so it wasn't a complete people were still very interested, but it just didn't get to where it needed to go. Whereas this one, we have interviews that are tanking the movie, and the movie comes out, and the first people to see it are saying it's not good. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
This is usually when they start out okay and then drop a little because they're like people that have access don't want to go too hard. People that are there early are usually not so negative on, Marvel stuff.
Usually not. Usually not. Mindless meat. There's a showing for Cap 4 at my theater tomorrow. If I cared to go, still seats available. I will admit there was still a good amount available as well. This weekend is very important moving forward to see, because if it doesn't have a good weekend, it's going to have a really, really, really tough week and week afterwards. Jake Hawk, how goes it? Appreciate you. D. Marcel, Terrence House Guy, Sir Grizzle, Crozit. We have some other people joining here. And that would be the Doolies.
What's up?
What's up, guys?
Straight out of the penitentiary. Straight out.
Straight
out.
out.
Goodness. All right. Now, on the Doolies channel, we talked about what this movie could do. On Bonebridge's channel, we've talked about what this movie can do. And let's just get into it. Now, you see, there's this belt.
Oh my gosh.
When it comes to this belt, you know, there's been a lot of predictions that I've made that have been really, really strong. The prediction of Bad Boys. Oh boy,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Incredible.
That's
incredible.
The prediction of making it that Sonic. I didn't think Sonic would beat Mufasa worldwide, but I did think it would beat it domestically. All right, that worked out fairly well as well. You know, and I had small little things as well. I felt like I was representing this belt well. And then I made a prediction that Captain America should be the best of the Marvel movies. Maybe not critically, but it should do the best money-wise.
Yeah.
I might have to give up this belt.
I thought you were about to double down.
So did I.
Hey,
It's like
everybody has their moment.
I thought he was going to give us some insider knowledge that in California it made $500 billion and just, you know, from some stimulus deal or something.
I would not be surprised at all if they swoop in Sunday and buy a bunch of tickets as Disney. Just do it. I don't even think they hide it this time. I think they just go to some random state and buy every theater, every ticket.
Yeah.
Google's front page, they were listing the budget because they desperately want you to believe the budget is 180 million. And you know it's accurate because right next to it has the director. However, it's the wrong director. It's not the director anymore. So
yeah. Which one? Yeah.
Yeah, Julius Ona, who's no longer. Yeah.
That's the thing, and I know we're going to talk about it, but like every review is saying one thing. There were multiple reshoots and it's a mess. Like that is confirmed. And there was like this weird campaign to say, no, those didn't happen. I'm like, you know, that information's pretty solid. Like people creep the sets. Like they're not, you know.
Yeah. It's a whole business. Right. Yeah. They said it.
They admitted
that's true.
And our guy from Breaking Bad said it. He was like, I'm coming on set. And this was like, I don't know, 5 seconds ago, 4 days ago. I don't know.
Yeah. Giancarlo Esposito came. He came very late.
Says he is just, he looks like he's like a phantom in his own world and like he was just superimposed in.
Not allowed to touch anything. It's like Ghost.
Can't interact with any objects or people.
Ghost Star with a good point. The Acolyte also had a 180 million budget until it was revealed to be 230, and that is fair. That's fair. Mindless Meat also still has the messages that disappeared from. Oh, okay, good. Just making sure they were still. Mindless Meat, $5 super chat. Appreciate it as always. And on Dooley's opening yesterday, I watched North by Northwest. So great. I forgot all the famous people in it. Yes. You ever see some of these older movies and like you see like a crazy cast and you're like, wow, how did they get all these people? And then you realize it's at the beginning of their careers.
Katie, the movie buff she is. Do you know why they would be? Yeah, terrible. I have no idea. Because the Bone Bridger's face was on Cary Grant from North by Northwest.
Which I love, by the way, because that is my that's probably my pick for like if I had to pick like best movie. That's one of my picks. That and any other Alfred Hitchcock, pretty much.
Yeah. Fair. Mindless Meat, appreciate it as always. Just fell through the barbershop window. That's
a wild comment. That's a wild comment.
Like Rohit is saying, Shockmaster reference. Yeah, so absolutely. Listen, let's just get into it. And in fact, let me go up real quick because somebody said it here, and it was Sir Grizzle. Why do people care about Rotten Tomatoes scores now? I don't think they do per se. I do think people care about the early reviews because even the early reviews, which are almost always all the time supremely positive. Let's go back to the Marvels and Ant-Man's early reviews that were incredibly positive.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, for this movie, you're not going to be positive. For this movie, you decide you want to tell the truth. Is Disney not paying people anymore? More on that later. What's going on? And so you kind of get into the initial portion of it and you go, okay, well, we are off to a pretty poor start. And this is why I feel like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Bone Bridger said this the other night that I am making too early of a prediction. He might be right. I might be down for the count starting in February, but we're going to see.
But then you can get redemption. Redemption arcs are cool.
Yeah.
Story arcs are cool
to attach myself to. I don't know what movie to attach myself.
Yeah.
You got to pick something that's like not going to do big. You got to like really go home running.
But then my following redemption / whatever is that Superman domestically will beat Jurassic World.
And that's a joke.
I'm with you on that one though.
Well, you're on that even crazier one.
Yeah.
How
That's what I'm
gross
saying.
are
Now you're
y'all
on the
gonna
crazy
feel?
train.
Yeah.
How gross are you guys gonna feel if Katie's right about all these predictions? Like how
It's very
sad
possible.
is that gonna be? Oh,
Yeah.
The problem is I feel like Katie already is right, but I'm trying not to say.
like
I'm just
her
like,
of all people.
Yeah,
Just
see what I
throwing
need
out
though.
numbers like a crazy person.
If this fails and then Jurassic World fails, though, then I take over for Katie right there because me and Katie
Yeah.
differed on that one. So I need
Terrence
I
House
don't
won't
know.
allow
I feel
for
like
any
the
dinosaor
world-
slander.
Yeah. I feel like the world's ending if Bone Bridger, if you win. Like if
it
Jurassic
probably
World doesn't
Yeah.
make a ton of money, like the
Mhm.
world's just ending.
No, that just
Mhm.
means people don't like movies
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
if the low tier
that's-
movies of
Yeah.
Actually, kinda. If
Like
that
that's-
happens,
Right. If that,
I mean,
that
we're seeing it.
falls,
We're seeing it
Yeah.
with video games right now, where these AAA games that had a chokehold on the industry, now people care more about playing an indie game like in mass. So,
Yeah.
could see that happening to the movie theaters or to the movies themselves. Here's the thing with Captain America. It comes out officially tomorrow for a lot of people. 51% is not good. But usually you will go, oh, 51%, it's got 20 reviews. Let's give it some time. It'll always creep up, which it usually does. But 51% off of 117 reviews is yikes. But then you have to think about it. It's the first big movie of the year. And so, of course,
Right.
more people are paying attention to it. And that's not good because in this vein, it can't go up. It can only go further down. And that is not good. Not at all. So I figured, you know what? Let's go through some of these reviews. But before we do, let's go through two people that I love, three people really, that I love kind of going back and seeing what they gave, mainly because it usually prompts what everybody feels one way or the other. Let's start with IGN. Captain America Brave New World review. Brave new in this economy. They tried to get a laugh there. It wasn't really funny, but you know, it is what it is. And oh no.
ooh,
Can you
Ooh,
believe
Sports
it? A 5
Now,
from
a
IGN?
5. Now, I was convinced that the same site that would give the Marvels an 8 would say, you know what? This is our movie. We got Anthony Mackie, black guy. We got Harrison Ford, who seemingly might be making fun of Trump. We don't like that guy. We have Black History Month. We have all of these things. And I thought, you know what? They're gonna show for even harder. But a 5? Yikes. That's not good. We're off to a bad start already. I don't know. I don't even know what to think when IGN gives a 5. Because in some cases you can go, well, maybe it's one of those 5s where, you know what, it's IGN being IGN, because usually when they give something bad, it ends up being good. And when they give something good, it ends up being bad. But then you get to some place like the Hollywood Reporter. Captain America Brave New World review, Anthony Mackie takes the lead. And this is what I actually thought was going to happen to him. But uninspired Marvel entry lets him down. Yikes. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is not good. But let's go to the last one. Because surely Inverse, which is extremely big fans of Marvel and the superhero genre, surely they have something positive to say. Oh, Captain America Brave New World can't fix Marvel's identity crisis. Yikes. This
I
is
like
gonna
that
be bad.
subtext as well. Sam Wilson wields the shield,
Yeah.
but he can't compete with the Red Hulk. It's like, well, yeah, that's what people have been saying for like a year.
right?
And I want you
Yeah.
to know that this article is by Livy Scott. Livy Scott might be the most liberal, gives everything a chance, supremely. I need everything to be what I like, and what I like is Disney. I mean, at this point, people were thinking she was literally working for Disney with the way she was giving some of these reviews. And somehow,
And I think this
now-
is a she'll take too. I think
Yeah,
she's still being
perfect.
nice. I think a lot of these people are, because if you read the details, they're pulling their punches. And I love, like, I watch Jeremy Johns and all them. Once they're even being nice, all of them are. Like, I mean, he's
Really?
doing a good review, but like, this has got problems.
mindless me, that's a good point. Didn't think they gave new numbers below
Yeah,
7.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these people are afraid to go against Disney because of access. Even if you don't get paid directly, you lose your access, you lose your early stuff. But they're all doing it together, so that's a sign. You know, the Marvels was probably like, was it 93% when it premiered?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
from critics. No, this is not.
Which is crazy because there's no way Brave New World is worse than the Marvels. Like,
Well, let's go back to this just a little bit. Remember, the Marvels did start off extremely high. It was like, I believe, in the 90s. Then it fell into the 80s for a little bit. Then people got honest, and it got to 62. I also don't believe this 80% is actually 80%, but it is only 2,500.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. So that's, you go, okay. That makes a lot of sense for this. Is the Marvels a good movie? No, it's not. Is it passable? I guess, depending on which portion you're coming from. But really, Iman Vellani is the only somewhat good part of the film. And then without her, it's a really awful film. So, okay, that's neither here nor there. But when we get to things like this, where even the most liberal, even the most fanboyish, fangirlish type of publications can't even get behind it, yikes, we are in trouble. I mean, BlackRock was expecting 60%, which is what I was expecting too, but 51% and potentially going further and further down. I don't know, but Sir Grizzle brings up a good point. At this point, we are expecting too much from Marvel and DC. The golden age is over, and I think this is probably going to be the confirmation that the golden age is over, because the Marvels wasn't going to do it, and Ant-Man and all that wasn't going to do it. They were trying to get something new, whereas here they're trying to almost pull from something that's old that was a part of that golden age, and it still doesn't work.
Well, not even that. Like, he's supposed to set up, like, he's supposed to be the leader of the Avengers. Like, what are you supposed to expect moving forward if even this movie couldn't get a passing review? Like, and Bone Bridger made the perfect assessment. They're doing it all together.
Probably a shill take.
Well, like they're doing it all together. Like, even the major shills. Like, one like Soups, who gave Gladiator 2 like a glowing review and said it was the best movie he'd ever seen. He said this movie was a disappointment. I was like, what? What are we doing here? Like,
I think it's because, and to the credit of some of these people, I think this movie, technically, when you break it down, is technically not a movie in some ways because of the way they've edited it, because of the lack of story. Like, it's going to feel weird. Like, I think they just have a broken story and a broken film where it's forced out. Like, I think we talked for weeks ago, and my biggest fear was the ending, because I had read a spoiler that the end of the movie wasn't going to be what you expect, but you're going to know it from the trailer. And I was like, oh, but that doesn't track. And once I read that it was confirmed, I was like, no wonder this movie failed. That's from the writing room. This movie was a failure.
On top of the fact that they leaked the end credit scene already. I'm like, why would you?
Yeah, it did.
And they do that when they're desperate. When they're
desperate, they do that.
But like, I'm like, the general audience couldn't have even seen it yet. Like, why would you leak it before anyone's
because
even
they've already
allowed
moved on from nobody's going to go see this, just like they did with the Super Bowl stuff. They're on to the next things. The end credit is like, we know you're not going to go see this, but please be invested for what may come in the future. Like, they don't want that to fall apart.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Chad, hey, how goes it? Rohit, this movie being mid is going to add to general audiences losing interest in superhero movies. I can see Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Soups hurting. And now, this will
100% affect. Yeah,
this will affect Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, no question. Those movies might do better, but this will still affect them because same thing happened with Ant-Man, where Ant-Man affected the later Marvel movies because that came out earlier. I don't know, but Max, same. I agree. Still going to see it for yourself. Like, people are still fans. There are people who are still fans of Falcon. There are people who are still fans of Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford. There are people who are just curious, and so totally understand that as well. Sometimes you just gotta double check. But it's interesting to see those things. Neil, how goes it? Is anybody genuinely surprised by the bad reviews? No, I don't think anybody is. But I think people are surprised just how quickly and how fast the bad reviews came, and just how many there are. Whereas I think a lot of people would have expected, something a little bit more in the 60s or even maybe in the 70s, but then kind of paring down. But yeah, it's crazy, especially when IGN of all places is giving you a 5. Like,
because there's a whole shill cycle, and it starts with like glazing the film before it comes out, and then it's bad, and everybody knows it's bad, but they try and be like, no, it's not bad, it's just haters. And then eventually, like 3-4 weeks later, they say, yeah, why it wasn't great. They've jumped straight to just not even defending it. Yeah, like,
which and who does this the most?
Yeah.
They do. That's the most.
That's what I'm saying.
Screen Rant, Sir Grizzle.
That's what I'm saying. What is going on? So no, I was shocked by the reviews because the critics' reviews, they're never that low to begin with, especially when you have the racist shield. Like, why would you start off that low to begin with? Like they usually like a month or two later, they would put like out an article of like the 10 things wrong with Captain America.
Well, after they do a 10 reasons is better than you think.
Hold on, Katie. Hold on. Because Sir Grizzle, Screen Rant gave it a 4 out of 10. And usually Screen Rant does stuff like that, where they'll give a high score, then later they'll talk about what happened. But you see, Screen Rant gave a low score and then immediately talked about why it's not.
Oh my gosh.
So they're just jumping.
We're just skipping the part where we pretend this is good now.
The movie's so bad, like the entire Access Media is willing to write off like 4 weeks of like fluff articles and go straight to the.
That's insane. It hasn't even come out yet. Like this is what is going on.
Screen Rant is known for doing that, giving a good score and then giving a bad article about why they gave that good score, but why it really wasn't. It shouldn't have been that score. Them coming out so early, and we could even go through a few. Oh, there's very little fun to be had. Oh boy, that's not good. The over seriousness and bleakness sap the movie of any enjoyment we might get from watching a new Captain America movie. Boom Bridger saying it's boring. Feels unnecessary and with no sense of urgency. Here's the worst part about it. They're going through, they're not just listing the reasons, they're listing the review it came from.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Dude,
because this one's
usually the reasons are usually like fluff reasons. Like they're usually like backhanded reasons of like
like backhanded or like things that you could take as a compliment, like it's just too ahead of its time, or
or if people never gave it a chance.
Like, they're breaking free of the Matrix.
The Matrix.
It's more like a check to clear.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It feels unnecessary with no sense of urgency. That's Daily Telegraph. Number 8, it fails to match the heights of the previous Captain America movies. That's Deadline. We all knew that was going to be the case. 7, Sam Wilson feels out of character. That's a wild one, considering there was a whole show that was supposed to build up the character of Sam Wilson. Oh, that's right. I didn't do that because I wanted to focus on other things that didn't deal with Sam Wilson. Got it.
Okay, so this is clearly an organized effort. I feel like everyone just sent each other their reviews ahead of time. It was like, hey, this is what I'm going to put out. Is that what you're going to put out?
Oh,
and they all agreed.
They were probably in the theater together.
That's what? Like they had to all agree and be like, yes, we're going to trash this film and put it out together. And here, I'll give you my quips ahead of time.
You know why I think Katie is she might be on her profit game right now, because what you just said, Katie, because look, let's hold that thought for just a second. This is Collider. We just saw Telegraph. We saw Deadline. The Times movie ties characters to the greater MCU, hinder its potential. We have Thrive. The movie's many reshoots are easy to tell apart. That's discussing film. We have the Film Verdict. It makes a forgotten MCU movie pretty much require viewing. That's the homework part. Exposition plagues what's an uneven script, too many subplots to follow, and it feels like a retread of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, what Katie just said, each of these are from somebody different. Now, why would there be a coordinated effort? That doesn't make sense. What happens when everybody bands together? Well, usually it might be because they all decided that they don't like something. Where have we seen this before? Well, if you are in the US of A, Donald Trump, that we've seen a lot of people band together for that. If you're in Canada, Justin Trudeau, we've seen a lot of people band together for that. And if you are the media who's used to Disney doing things for you and actually parading the efforts, then you might be extremely mad when Disney decides to make changes to its DEI efforts, and all of a sudden there's a real big problem.
Wait.
Yep.
Wait, are you saying that what we've been saying for years, that they don't actually care about it? That they're
nah.
That they're going to drop it? Yeah. Now that they think it's okay and acceptable.
This business isn't about the morality, and they're about the money, and they just change it a whim? What?
But they told me they believed in this stuff. And I believed in them believing in this stuff.
I believe that they believe that they,
Yeah. My belief
is
is
craziness. By Katie Cole.
Buy Katie coin. Pump that crypto.
Katie will spit on that.
Kevin Davis, I'm sorry to bring race into this, even this led by a white actor, this film would have been a success for Marvel Studios. Are you saying if it was led by a white actor, would have been a success? Or are you saying even if it was, it still wouldn't have been a success?
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're saying wouldn't have been. In which case, you're right. This has nothing to do with Falcon being black at all.
No. When they announced they were doing their 4th round of reshoots, and the reasoning behind it was because they didn't have enough action in it. And then when Giancarlo Esposito said he was going to do filming by himself, it was clear there was major issues with the entire thing.
Nobody wants to see someone other than Chris Evans playing Steve Rogers as Captain America.
Yeah.
Like
nine writers.
If Wyatt Russell would have been Captain America, it still would have been.
Would have tanked too. If they made Bucky, it would have
still
tanked.
garbage movie.
People like Steve Rogers because he's really popular.
Yeah, and you know how it doesn't have anything to do with because Disney had a Marvel film led by the ultimate, if you want to call it that, feminist agenda, I guess, where you had your white woman in the lead with your black woman sidekick and your Middle Eastern sidekick as well. And that flopped hard, even with female audiences. So like,
and that's why I said it was going to do 200 million, because it like stinks of desperation of the same thing with the Marvels. They had multiple reshoots. And when we watched that movie, it was so clear where there was like hard edits where they were switching scenes to just, it didn't flow at all. And I know when we go to see this movie tomorrow, there's going to be scenes where it just jumps to the next scene where it does not flow. It doesn't make sense. There's going to be super huge gaps in the storyline because like the story made no sense in the Marvels. Like I couldn't even figure out what the point was.
Well, you could see the cuts where there was like 3 different
movies. You could actually see the cuts.
There's probably like 3 editors on that too.
Like
and that's
the
motivation's
ridiculous. Go ahead.
That's the problem with it. You have that situation where it's like, man, I can see the cuts. I can see what the problem is. I can see all of this stuff, but I can't see where the money went. And now you really are it's like trying to figure out what happened. It's bad. Tish, these movies have no energy behind them. I watch One Piece or Harry Potter video on YouTube, and my front page is filled with similar videos. It no longer happens with superhero stuff. Anecdotal, I know. Actually, I don't know if that's so anecdotal. They don't push it as hard as they used to. When the Harry Potter TV show comes out, I guarantee you that Harry Potter's ads are going to be insane.
Facts.
So
I think people are so tired of. And this is why, like, when we talked about this, I'm not super bullish on any films in general this year because just what's going on with the theaters, but especially superhero films because every bad superhero film just gets logged as another disappointment. It doesn't matter if it's Sony, Marvel, Warner Brothers. And since the end of the, Endgame, especially between Marvel and DC, bro, there's been some stinkers. There's been some.
5 years of them.
5 years of I can't believe I went to a theater to see this. And it's not even that they're bad. How many of them aren't complete? You can see where like with Craven, The Flash, where you're like, that is not a finished movie. The Marvels,
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. It's a tough one. And it starts to feel like the boy who's cried wolf when every time it's like, oh, this is the next great, this is the next great, this is the next great. And we keep believing it. It's why I could see Daredevil not being heavily watched unless everybody says it's good. Like not being like from the jump. People might be a little bit curious, but from the jump, it's not going to get the same type of stuff. I guarantee you it's season on Disney. Its season premiere won't have higher numbers than Netflix's season 2 or season 3 had.
Not even close.
And you know that's what happens. So it's crazy. Getting into the comments here, Kevin Davis. Again, I feel bad for Anthony Mackie. People are going to show up and support Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four at the box office because it isn't going to offend the audience.
I don't know.
People, I don't know. I'm not big on Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts at all. There's
Marvel's kind of hot garbage there right now.
So we'll have to see.
I don't think so.
Black Rock. So the director who directed this movie is the same director who made the Cloverfield Paradox, which is also
this had multiple directors. They switched throughout. Got fired.
So exactly. One of the directors. Thank you. Aaron Stampede. Good to see you as always. I'll take my chance. I'll take a chance with it. It's only $6 at my theater. If you can get this for a crazy matinee price, especially a matinee price at prime time, good luck to you. Go take it. Why not?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
that's
that.
a steal. Yeah.
You still get to
that's a
sit in the
great deal.
theater. Yeah. Still get to eat some popcorn,
But
watch a movie.
Unerring Spy, this is the thing that I think a lot of people are kind of curious about, and this is the feeling. What's the point of making these superhero movies if they just build to the next one? Now, Fantastic Four, I could be completely wrong about that. That could potentially be a big thing. What's the point of Thunderbolts?
Nothing.
That they committed to it and they don't want to lose face by shelving it.
Like, I don't see it. I just,
none of this connects to Fantastic Four. None of it matters.
Right. But at the very least, we know that Anthony Mackie, by proxy, is supposed to be the one that leads the Avengers, as well as there's some little things here and there that they try and, the adamantium thing with, Tiamat being in the ocean there. That's where Wolverine's claws come. All those things like that. Fine. But what's the point of Thunderbolts? Especially if it's not leading to, maybe it leads to Dark Avengers or West Coast Avengers, one of the two. But really, do anybody really care if you can't even get your normal Avengers correct?
Speaking of something very odd, have you guys, for me at least, I've been getting an enormous amount of Eternal shorts, like those random. Yes. They're all like not like gibberish channel names, but they slice up shorts of Marvel films. An enormous amount. Like, I'll swipe through, and I've seen almost the entirety of Internals over the past 2 days, just swiping through, just scene for scene, 30 to 60 seconds at a time. And I wonder why. Like,
fair. I don't know. We'll have to see with that one too, because triangulation marketing is very interesting when it comes to like, did Disney pay for? I mean, they probably did. To be fair,
yeah.
A little YouTube secret for people who don't maybe really know this. Sometimes if your video is technically about a topic that somebody has paid an ad for, like a major company has paid an ad for, there's a possibility that your video then gets seen as a thought leader video and then gets pushed in the algorithm. And nobody likes to talk about that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Tish, don't worry though, even though they've moved on from DEI, which they probably haven't, they still think fans are evil and stupid, so rest easy.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
At least there's
that's not going away.
No.
Yeah. Or Chad with a good point here. How shocked are you when a superhero movie is good now?
Extremely. If they actually took the time to create something that's actually a good, well thought out story, that that doesn't have a ton of issues with the editing.
It's I don't even think that's like, it's not even good. It's because my expectation, because I love superhero stuff, is actually kind of low. It's shocking when it's passable. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've seen more that are like, I'm like, I can't believe you put this into theaters.
Oh man, we have to see what happens here. Jake Hawk, good. This is a good point. This is a good counterpoint. Thunderbolts doesn't have to lead to anything if it's a good movie on its own. A movie can, in theory, just be a good and enjoyable movie to watch by itself. You are correct. You're absolutely correct on that. Except this is Marvel, and Marvel can't. They just can't let a movie be something by itself. Hell, even DC couldn't. They could have let Joker be by itself. Couldn't let that happen either because there was too much money to be made.
With the involvement of Sentry, that would make no sense to not do something where he becomes a different part.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Just like, a one and done Sentry.
Hi, I'm Bob.
Yeah.
They have no idea what to do with Sentry. I'm convinced they don't know what to do with Sentry.
His first lines in the MCU are "I'm Bob."
Yeah,
that's what he says
to make a nice little joke.
Yeah, and I agree with the statement,
Bob,
but like, I feel like Thunderbolts also just kind of looks like a streaming movie. Like, it doesn't look like a blockbuster, like something I should go spend money at the theater. Like, it could be an amazing movie, but like, I think to general audience people, it doesn't look like something you should like go out of your way to go see in the theaters.
Yeah, because you can watch on Disney Plus at your house.
It's got competition. It's not in a good release state. At least Captain America has no competition.
Captain America Fantastic Four don't have the same competition Thunderbolts has. But let's go through it. Let's go through. We've already seen a lot of bad ones. Maybe let's go through the good ones. Let's go through the tomatoes. Brian, eager. While Captain America Brave New World is only political in MCU terms, why should it be political at all? Which is mild at best. The blockbuster lends some relevance to it. To this goes down smooth scenario, instilling hope for MCU's future with an entertaining installment. Except it sounds like you wanted it to be extremely political in order to serve the things that you actually believe in. So let's go to the next one. All right, we got Jamie Bornox
from Black Girl Nerds.
Black Girl Nerds.
Katie tried to apply to, but they wouldn't have her.
That's fair. Sorry, Katie. Captain America Brave New. You know what? There's no point in reading that because it's from Black Girl Nerds. They should support it. All right, going from people of color. Okay, we're gonna move on because they should support it as well. We have the AU review.
Anything?
Yeah, right. A middle ranger actioner that's just serviceable enough to earn entertainment points, even if it ultimately adds up to very little of consequence. 2.5 out of 5 is a tomato?
This is what I'm saying. Even the positive reviews, they are struggling to find something positive to say. Like, it's clear they want to say something negative so bad that they're like, how can I put a positive spin on this so I don't get in trouble?
That's how our education system grades these days too.
Wait a minute. Betsy from Common Sense Media, surely a mix of earnest speeches and fairly intense action sequences. Sam Wilson's first standalone Captain America adventure is solid, if not a spectacular. See, now she used the word spectacular entry, but gave it a 3 out of 5.
But you know she's wearing Birkenstocks and she lives on a coast somewhere.
Does she
and she teaches at like UC Berkeley.
Yeah, like does she actually know it's spectacular?
So,
in the MCU? Has she, like, I want a list of what other MCU movies has she seen? Because I
this
feel like,
one and Black Panther and
the
Marvels and
oh gosh. I mean, Dan Murrow gave it some good stuff, but still a 6 out of 10. The clean edges of the good parts make the rough edges of the not so good parts even more obvious. What could have been an all-time great MCU movie seems to have been lost somewhere in the process.
How's that a 6?
Man.
That's a good point. Do we not like scold movies for being sloppy anymore? Like, are we?
Like, what's crazy is the number of reviews that I saw where people were like, it could have been so much worse. I didn't hate it, but it could have been better. Yeah. How is it a positive review?
So like, I should have.
Why are we now just okay with just mediocrity? And not even mediocrity. It's like your expectations were so low that because it wasn't just a dumpster fire, they're like, it's actually good.
Yeah, I should have, like, when we watched Craven, it's like if the first 8 minutes, if it had held up to the first 8 minutes, it would have been a good movie. Therefore, 9 out of 10.
Like Chad says, it's a movie. Positive review. Hydrix, going to watch it Saturday with some friends, going on with low expectations, like Andy just said. So I mean, I don't know.
Can I bring up something I read in a couple of reviews? Now I read detailed spoiler reviews, but I'm not going to spoil anything. I just want to talk about one character. Okay, there's the new Falcon. The new Falcon is supposedly, according to a lot of people, the most annoying character in Marvel history. I would not have thought they would have gone that route.
Did you not see his clip that they released that was circulating on the internet?
They even make jokes about the fact that he doesn't stop talking in the film.
He's so annoying. Like, just from that 1 minute clip, I was like, oh, why would you release that?
Why would they do that? Like, why? Like,
people are saying that the Hulk was the best part. And they're like,
the trailer shows you the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
So without spoiling anything, from what you know, is it true about how little the Hulk is in it?
I think it's like 6 minutes and 50 something seconds or something like that.
Oh, so that's more.
I actually think that part lands well. Yeah.
And I heard the other villains suck. And so
but let me tell y'all something that didn't happen. So for a few days leading up to this, there were some YouTubers who were making videos talking about how the after credit scene was going to be such a banger and a game changer and all this. And I was like, I haven't heard that from anybody. And this is like last minute stuff. And they were like, it's going to have Nick Fury. It's going to be clear that Sam is leading the Avengers and rebuilding the team. And there's a threat. No. Zero of that.
I'll say I haven't watched it. Like, I've stayed away from it because we're going to see the movie tomorrow. I was like, I don't want to watch it before I go.
Oh no, you'll get to see something new then. Everything I just said would have been better than what you're going to see, but enjoy that.
Oh my goodness.
I need to put this away. I don't.
I got one more detail, but I'm not spoiling that. I'm waiting till Thunderbolts comes out so that everybody can be angry with me and upset.
With Thunderbolts, do you think they see? I think they should have put Thunderbolts out earlier to get a gauge on what
it's supposed to come out earlier.
Yeah,
and story-wise, it was supposed to come out earlier, and they just said, it will be fine.
I think there's a reason they're putting it after Fantastic Four, because I think when people see that
Fantastic Four,
or like
after Brave New World.
After Brave New World. I think people are tired, and I think that they're like,
but just the coordinated effort. Why you got to do this to Anthony Mackie, man? Why you got to do this to Captain America?
Marvel characters.
You got to do this to this man during Black History Month. You got to do this to this man, and it's like
back in time.
Yeah, like how do we? Why is it a coordinated effort? And I get it. The America's wokest company, Disney, makes major changes to classic films as it banishes DEI. And ironically, as it makes the announcement that it's banished DEI, its stock actually jumps. What is going on? Hey, I'm an investor in Disney, so please go as far up as you want. But nevertheless, this is crazy because you literally had a situation where this has now led to things like this. And had that not happened, surely this would have been an 8 or at least the IGN 7.
Yeah, easy. That's what I'm saying. I expected, honestly, the early critic reviews to be in the 80s.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the 90s because I thought they were going to talk about like this fresh face and it's the representation we need right now.
And he needs to carry the shield and he does a great job, but
and how he deserves.
They're not even saying America. That. The people that were all in on him being Captain America are not saying that.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, in that article, it's Anthony Mackie's in it, but Marvel lets him down. So it is something about the company, surely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's like, man, how did we get here? So, Mindless Meat, $2 super chat. Appreciate as always. You guys sold me. I'm calling out and see.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Chat. Yeah, I guess. My it's just sad. You gotta go like, man, this is craziness. I had a lot of hope in Anthony Mackie. I'm not the biggest fan of the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I do like the start of it. And it's I don't know. It's sad to hear and see.
No. Do you guys think he watched it? Because I felt so embarrassed for him today when I saw the clips of him promoting the movie at the premiere, and he's so excited, and he's doing this interview where he was like, he's so happy because who was it? Tom Holland kind of played him when he was like, oh, well, you don't have your own movie. And so it was supposed to be like, so they're like, oh, are you super excited because now you have your own movie that people are going to see? And he was like, yeah, of course I am. It's so amazing. He's like, it's not even worth mentioning. I'm like, oh my God. Your own movie sucks, dude. Like, people are trashing it. Like, not even the critics are behind this man.
This is why I love Joaquin Phoenix. He literally said his movie was terrible at the award show. And so much respect, endless respect, because he admitted it. Just be real.
But
yeah, when he turned to Lady Gaga, I was like, that was shit.
Yeah. But here's what gets me about this. 51%. Anthony Mackie had another movie that came out literally not too long ago last year, about 3 months ago, called Elevation. I watched it. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's actually fairly solid for what it tries to be. And that movie has a higher rating than Captain America.
Whoa, no, only 250 verified reviews.
Nobody saw this movie.
For rating.
Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it.
What was that? But I did see him in a movie last year I really loved, and I can't think of the name. It's the space movie.
He's in a lot of stuff that people love, though. Like, he's in a lot of things that people like, where he is the person people like in it. And so you would have thought that his just genuine ability to be the charismatic guy that we know he is, as well as all the cool scenes we've seen from Falcon over the years, would have just helped at least carry it through. Well, but the fact that doesn't even work.
Well, because he made a big deal
Twisted
about
Metal?
Yeah.
I didn't see that, yeah. But he made a big deal that when he was Falcon, it wasn't enough. Like, and I'm like, dude, that's what people liked about you. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but I don't think this is about Anthony Mackie at all.
No, I know that. I'm saying even more so, I feel like there's tons of factors that are playing into people just being over this film. I think there is tons of things that are
yeah. Like, believe it or not, despite what all the media wanted to say, it was never a racial thing. It was never an Anthony Mackie thing. It's when you hear 4 rounds of reshoots, nobody's ever seen a movie that's good after 4 rounds of reshoots. It just doesn't happen.
2 years extended shooting. Yeah.
And bringing in new people like months before it comes out. It just is never good. But they ignored that. And they tried to make it a political thing. They tried to make it like a racial thing.
They tried to pivot as well.
Well, they didn't pivot. Yeah. They just barreled ahead and said, no, like John was saying, like they promised, like Boy Who Cried Wolf, that it was gonna be good, even though every bit of logic said it was a train wreck. Like
they did him dirty. They left him out to dry. Like, and they did it in the show too. Like, if you want to build him up as Captain America, that takes time. So one thing in this movie that's going to stand out like a sore thumb is the writing, and who knows which writer did this. They inserted random scenes where like the soldiers are like, oh my gosh, you're awesome, because they think that's how people like characters. But that's like a writing rule, is if a character praises another character, it deflates them. It makes them yucky. Like, we don't like that. Like, that's like the unsaid rule. You don't. Oh, that's weird.
What type of writers write like that though?
Disney writers. Modern Disney writers.
You think this is true from Kevin here? Disney isn't going to take risk anymore because if this issue, no matter storylines, good audience, like, you think it's a political thing? I don't think it. Kevin, I don't actually agree here, only because the political agenda from that they were pushing initially was fake. Like, it wasn't real to begin with. They didn't actually care, and a lot of it was almost project wise. Like, we wanted to see if maybe we could get one over on you. For Rey is the perfect example of this. For Star Wars, Rey was an experiment to see if they could just get that over. They didn't actually, and you know how you know this? Because the marketing originally they'll say, oh, well, the marketing was to hide the fact that Rey was a Jedi and we're going to really give it to Finn. No, you knew that Finn would be easily more identifiable and followable as a person that would be interesting, that would lead people to be interested in what was going on. And then you decided to do the bait and switch with Rey. She wasn't going to sell the movie had you started with her marketing. Finn, and plus John Boyega had a little bit of like acclaim at the time. He was going to sell the movie, and he did. And so I don't know. I feel like they're getting away from it. I feel like they're getting away from it.
Yeah.
An unearned spy, the original 350 to 400 million budget. This is them just doing damage control.
they had their movie. They took some Ozempic and they cut the budget down.
Basically, by more than half.
Somebody's gonna sit there. It's like, wait, you spent 180 on this film. He goes, well, on this round of reshoots. It's like, on this round of reshoots, we spent 180.
Yeah.
And here's the thing,
even if it's 180, it's too much.
Bucky doesn't work as Captain America. And in any sense, actually, MCU Bucky in the comics can, and Bucky has been Captain America in the comics, but in MCU, Bucky doesn't actually work as Captain America. There's a reason why that scene in Endgame with him literally telling Sam, like, hey, go ahead. He knows what Chris Evans or what Steve Rogers is about to do at the very end of Endgame, and he knows that he's not doing it. He's also a man out of time, the same way Steve Rogers is a man at a time, but he's not an honorable man at a time. So it's like, we know these things about him, but the Winter Soldier is a cooler overall character. But I don't think it would have worked with Bucky either, because Bucky has been toned down so much. Like, the Bucky we're getting in Thunderbolts isn't going to be a good Bucky.
No. Well,
is he an action hero? Is he a politician?
We'll have to see. Dan Yeager, though. Oh, go ahead.
The what's his name? And I keep forgetting. I hate that I forget it. U.S. agent, the guy that Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell. He might be the most interesting character we've got this year that we can just count on, in terms of, like, at least there's a layer to him, like something.
It looks like they toned him down too, though.
That's what I'm worried, because he was interesting. He was the broken character from the show, and like,
they're
gonna make him. I don't know. thing.
We'll have to see. Dan Yeager, Disney has a movie marketing or movie making strategy called scrapbooking. They film tons of extra scenes and then decide on the final story after they have enough stuff. That means they don't plan. That causes reshoots, which that is a very real thing, actually. So, and then with Mindless Me, adding into the fact that you have inexperienced writers, also inexperienced directors, and it looks like they're starting to get inexperienced VFX and cinematographers as well, because a lot of the original cinematographers and VFX people left because they didn't like the treatment that Disney was giving them. So now you're hiring lesser teams, and some of this stuff matters. Look at Sonic. Sonic had Blur Studio do all their visuals, and so it progressively got better and better and better and better and better. But had Blur Studio said, yeah, we're not doing it, man, that mocap for Sonic probably doesn't look nearly as good, especially in the third one. Like, that stuff matters. You want to keep your people. And Rohit, they neutered Bucky. That's a good point. They neutered Bucky a long time ago. It's going to be weird to show a kid or any kid, like let's say some kid wants to go over and you want to go, you're telling the kid about the high point of Marvel, right? When did it actually begin to turn? The answer is not after Endgame or anything like that. The answer is actually Civil War, because when Civil War happened, we got a whole host of new characters that entered the fray, as well as we got people at their highs. We had Winter Soldier, who was basically just like Terminator mode. The introduction of Black Panther, which is one of the greatest introductions of any of the Marvel superheroes, period. Introduction of Spider-Man, which kind of signified the Disney and Fox, or Disney and Sony deal. And then you had all of the things of like, all right, Ant-Man's now meeting the team, all of these little things that happened. And none of those people are better in their own movies after the fact than they were in Civil War, except for maybe Spider-Man.
That's such a good point.
Ant-Man, Quantumania, wasn't that a good movie? Didn't they land the plane on that one?
He's literally better in that movie of Civil War.
Oh, he beats up King with his bare hands, right? Oh, yeah, okay.
But like the comment earlier, it's like leaving well enough alone. And if a movie's good, it doesn't have to lead somewhere. But that's like Civil War was when the fun, silly movies like Ant-Man that were fun on their own, it had to be forced into. It's like, and for no reason. Like people say, oh, well, they need him but you didn't. You could have easily have written a scenario where you didn't need him to go back in time with the quantum realm. And so that forced everything has to come together. I think they don't have stakes outside of the Avengers as well, because at any point,
also, go ahead.
Well, dude, if it's a big enough threat, where are the Avengers? And if it's not a threat, then why aren't they handling it? It's,
But also, what did they push? What did they use that same strategy to push? Like his daughter.
Oh,
yeah.
And trying to do the Young Avengers thing and everything like that, and people and Kate Bishop and Amon and all these we want to push that. Yeah, that's not working. I think that's scrapped. The Young Avengers has to be scrapped. And not only that, and this isn't a sex thing at all, but like you start your Young Avengers with 3 girls and introduce no boys, and you expect a teenage audience to then come out that would mainly consist of boys wanting to see, that's a horrible marketing strategy.
Yeah.
It's not
totally
good at all.
Buy into all the rumors now about X-Men being the focus and Fantastic Four leading into that, because it makes more sense that Disney would pivot that direction, whether it's the right call or not. I just feel like Disney is aware of how bad this slate is, and they're going to just pivot into what they think.
I think they're just trying. I think they're trying to get this shit off their books and be done with it.
Yeah.
I guess
they should release Ironheart right now. They should just in the middle of the night.
Oh, they probably will though.
Release it.
Just get it done.
Will we even know when they release Ironheart?
If they were smart, we shouldn't know. They should literally.
I feel like we will know. I feel like maybe a trailer or so might come out, but it might come out at a point where nobody sees it, and then they're probably not going to put anything behind it, and so it'll be like, oh yeah, I feel like that's going to happen for a lot of people.
They should.
I don't know, Rohit. I do get that, and yes. Except, the Black Panther neutering it's to this day one of the most annoying things I've ever seen. It would be like if John Wick came out and started like just being friends with everybody. Just not doing I don't know. Dan Yeager, this movie has a very special VFX or has a special VFX situation. The Hulk was built using a technology they lost. They had to change the plot based off of losing a technology, which that is the last thing you want to do, because you literally have to change your entire project, hence the reshoots and things like that. And it's not good. Neil, it's just frustrating. I rewatched the Cap trilogy, and it reminds me why so much of the modern MCU is so bad. A consistent superhero trilogy and made Captain America awesome. And Captain America wasn't really awesome like that for like general people. And it's weird. It's weird how we have that going on. I don't know. But do you agree with this, Tish? The problem isn't the characters, though. It's the people making this garbage. Smart and talented people can make any of these characters work. Writing Wolverine won't make a bad writer good.
I don't know, because you still have to be like the choices. And not with Sam Wilson, but like when you're talking about some of the young Avengers, like Hawkeye already, I think, was struggling for relevance in the Avengers. Then to be like his child, a superpower that, or a superhero that already seems lackluster. I think it's a big problem with having Black Widow continue on in with the sister or whatever, the surrogate sister. So I don't. You know, it feels like with, you remember when Belichick, everybody's like, he can take 6-round draft picks and turn them into like Pro Bowlers, but towards the end, you're like, maybe you should go draft someone in the first round to help Brady. It feels like they're obsessed with taking the obscure. It's like, instead of taking characters that just have naturally more interesting story arcs or superpowers.
I blame a lot of it on the Disney Plus push and this extension of trying to get so many things out. Because like, if we rewind it and they're not doing the shows, what movies do they do with all those characters we still had? Like, what do they put? You know, it might be a whole different thought. Maybe Avengers 5. I don't know. That might be a decent idea.
Might have been able to use Wanda a little bit more.
I do agree with the thought process, just because, and using your Hawkeye example, Hawkeye, when he was struggling for relevancy and had been struggling for relevancy ever since the Thor movie, I think it was Thor when he first showed up. And in the Avengers movies, he always fell to the background, and it always kind of something like, and then that scene happens at the very beginning of Endgame. And because even if with, it was Civil War when they went to his farm and everything like that. They tried to make him relevant in all these different ways. The tractor, his wife needs Iron Man to help fix the tractor and things like that. And none of it really stuck. And then you had that Hawkeye scene at the beginning of Endgame, and it really stuck. And you were like, hey, like, this is really some craziness. And it made understanding why his character kind of went off the deep end and became Ronin later on, like, okay, I totally get it. And that was just who knows who wrote that or who decided to make that happen. But it was a smart decision to make a character that literally didn't really have it automatically be extremely important. And little things like that just don't happen in Marvel anymore, like at all.
And I would say I actually agree with what you're saying, because even like the Penguin show, it could have been awful depending on who wrote that. And I feel like it was actually like a breath of fresh air of they don't write shows like that anymore. Like it's rare that we get something that's created like that.
Which, speaking of, like you're saying with the shows, Bone Bridger, Ronin was cool. Like that kind of street level. It felt kind of like Daredevil. What did they use Ronin in?
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
It's like to try and push Echo.
Just
it's like
waste an Echo.
To push another.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's what Marvel's become. But they're not slowing down. I think that's the crazy part about this is there is no slowdown. Like, this is just accelerating.
Escalor, I kind of agree here as well. About the creative people can work with these characters and can see what can be worked within the world of the MCU. The blip, ignoring stories of robbing around the blip, seemingly was a mistake, but they wanted to get away from, like, we knew they wanted to get away from it. It was almost as if they pigeonholed themselves and then were like, whatever we can do. But then even them trying to get away from it, it ended up being a situation where they made some other things that they couldn't get away from with the TVA and the timelines and all these other things. And I don't know. I just don't know if we are. To
Shiva's comments, that is confirmed, it looks like. About Dumbledore.
Yeah,
what?
I just looked it up. John Lithgow.
What?
People are pissed.
John Lithgow's a good actor, but yeah, it's weird that they wouldn't cast a British actor. That's
love him as an actor. This is just a questionable casting for Dumbledore, like, to say the least.
He was Churchill.
I mean, hey, maybe he's a good actor, but
for reference,
the other concern is that
for
he's
people.
too old.
right.
No, again, sorry, Dumbledore's over
Well,
100 years old. So.
No, the fact that the show is supposed to go on for what, 7
right.
seasons?
He's Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
old.
supposed to go on for
He'll live
7
to
seasons,
100.
8 seasons.
And they're going to try to film in 8 years, which is that is aggressive. So
some people are like, that's a really old age to be committing to all of those seasons.
Yee. Ladies and gentlemen, on that news, yikes.
That is wild.
Bone Bridger, what do you got coming up?
I may make a video about this. This is some wild stuff here. No, on my new channel, I'll be making my Captain America review on there, and I'm gonna try to just be positive and kind. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna make it right after the movie's over, and I'm gonna be absolutely livid. And I think I'm gonna call it the problem with toxic positivity in Marvel, because
I was gonna say, Thunder, if you do what that guy did, where he says it's hard to make a movie, like I'm not coming.
What?
With
it's hard to
madness
make a
anymore.
movie. I'm
What
gonna
time
be
are you
like
on
that
the
announcement the other night.
What time are you going
Teams
to?
win half the time they play each other. Really?
Yeah. What hold my DualShock. What do you guys got coming up?
In 15 minutes, we're doing our stream for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man for the next 3 episodes.
Trying to beat Bone Bridger to market with that title name. That's awesome.
Yeah, you should. Oh my gosh, y'all should totally release it, and I'll just release a part 2.
Problem with toxic positivity.
Toxic positivity. I'll probably do a really bad job. In theory, it sounds really good, but
Oh my god.
Are you both? Are all of you seeing it tomorrow?
tomorrow at 12.
You got to get it fresh, because when this thing's stale, it's gonna be
yeah. So we already have
Yeah.
tickets for tomorrow. Yeah.
It's gonna be depressing
And then-
watching it like 3 days later.
And we were told to start doing out of the theater reviews, so we're gonna start
Oh,
doing
I
that.
like that.
So
Tomorrow
will be our first one.
I may not see it tomorrow.
I wouldn't blame you. Thursdays are meant
You're
to be
all
good
about it.
days.
I just want a soundbite from John being like, Captain America Brave New World is the worst thing to happen to black people since blank. Like, that would be phenomenal. Just start a video like that.
Yeah. I just all the talk, and I was legitimately excited to see it. I may not, partially because of weather. The weather's kind of trash right now, but also I'm not so sure I want to.
You have to now. We've made too many bets on this for you not to go see it.
And
Like you have to.
you
I'm
might
gonna
actually
see
help
it.
your box office prediction. Like,
I'm gonna see it. I just don't know if I'm gonna see it tomorrow. I think I need just a little bit of time. And for all of those of you who ever need time just for anything, take the time. Take the time for yourself.
Yeah.
real
Love yourself
question.
a little.
How long do you think that before they pull it? If you had to get, because this might be fun to do, how many weeks before they pull it from theaters?
4. It doesn't go
yeah.
before. It doesn't go after, or it doesn't go before Black History Month ends. So definitely 4.
But March, anytime in March, I could see
It's
it.
just like March 1st. It's just,
In
So
March,
say,
anything.
John,
Yeah.
There's not 4 more weeks in February.
oh my gosh. If
Oh,
they pull
no,
this,
I know
on
that, but I'm
March
saying
1st,
Yeah, I don't think they would do it like directly after, like the week directly after. So I think they would wait that one last week at the minimum, and then that's So I would
give
say
it
4.
3 weeks. I give it 3 weeks.
Wow. That'd be wild.
But
And on that
before
note-
it's on streaming, it'll be on streaming in 3 weeks.
Just wait till we read
You
the
think it's
China
gonna be on
reviews.
streaming in 3 weeks?
Yeah, like to be able to buy. Yeah, like
Craven was on streaming in less than
In
a
2 weeks.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
yeah, but Craven's Craven. I'm saying
like I give it 3 weeks. It'll
Like
be
how- yeah.
available to
I'd say
buy.
mid-March, maybe.
Yeah, available to buy 3 weeks.
like how fast do they try and pivot to this isn't a loss for the theaters, this is a win for Disney Plus subscribers?
Oh, they'll just show Robert Downey Jr.'s
Oh.
Doom on Monday.
Yeah.
They'll just release a video.
all right. Well,
Or say
ladies and
Spider-Man's in
gentlemen,
Fantastic Four. If they said
Yes.
that on Monday, it's because of this.
Yes.
Spider-Man's not
I
in
can see them
Fantastic
doing
Four.
He can't be, right?
Spider-Man
Or
is
no
not in Fantastic
Spider-Man.
Four.
Yeah.
No Spider-Man at all is in Fantastic. You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, good night. As always, if we haven't, if you have a chance, see Captain America. If you don't want to see it, totally understand. But as always, I want you to have a good weekend. And if not having a good weekend is because you would have to see Captain America, then don't see it, because everybody wants a little bit of peace in their life. Good night, everybody. Right. Hope you all have a good one.